Alright folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join me with the channel DJ and you once again join us out in this wild landscape of Scotland. And today we've come to explore a little historical wonder that's up here on the hill. It is what looks like a little abandoned farm croft, and as we've discovered with these adventures folks, you never know what you're going to find. And it's crazy. And it's a little bit of Scottish farm history just up here in the middle of these wild hills. And it's so cool to document it and always keep finding new things. There's no two of these crofts that's the same. It's quite interesting to see the different way they've had to build their farm and like the way the land is around it. Some of them had water and other ones didn't, so like they did some crazy things. Like this land here looks like they've dug ridges down probably to drain it away, because these hill landscapes are quite boggy and quite stony, so they had to do that often. They would move the big stones to the side and then like drain the land. And yeah, there's like remains of a farm, so it's quite cool. It's quite interesting folks. This landscape just blows my mind. It's a crazy Scottish wilderness with a little track through the middle of it. And here we are, like just finding history along that track. Insane scenes folks. This is a crazy little farm settlement we're witnessing here folks, or we're not even sure if it's a farm now. One of the windows has got the metal bars in it, and sometimes that shows the house is so old it was like before they even had glass in the windows. But there's a really impressive wall around the perimeter of this front field. It's crazy to see this. The construction of this wall is dry stone, but it's not like all the other walls you see on the hills. It's like they've almost had a bit here built up. Just check that out folks. Wow. And I've not seen any of these hill houses before with bars on the window like this, so it's always something different. You never know what you're going to see. The cool thing here, there's like a whole family of sheep here roaming about, but they're making their way like away from here as we come along. Doesn't it look like we're going to get attacked this time folks? Yeah, considering how old like these walls are, it's impressive that they're still standing. Oh aye. Yeah, there's a proper like opening there. Ah, there's a total beastie fleeing in my lug. Look at this folks, real adventures, we're keeping it rolling. The sheep are just chilling out here on the hill. Yeah, that's crazy to see. Look at this folks, there's this opening kind of bit in the outer wall of this little field. So it doesn't look like it's been a gate, but maybe at a later time the farmer's maybe done this if he's been using this area. The crazy thing is like that window with the bars, you just didn't see that on houses like around here. I've seen it on castles and stuff like that, but this might have been an important house here in the glen. Or maybe the farmer had all his savings in that room. It's a crazy structure, like the bits that's left. It's amazing to think what's just like left here on the hill. Sheep and stuff just roam through it, and it's their house nowadays. Wow, yeah, look, it's had massive shutters or something at these windows. Look at this folks. This building here has been something serious. And look, it's got remains here also of bars on these windows too. The sheep total right there, like. Wow, this is crazy folks. Let's go in and explore this history. Wow. Yeah, they've had proper like a shutter or something up there. Yeah, see this corner room here? This has been the most secure room by the looks of things. But it looks to me like originally all the windows have had the bars. Yeah. Wow. Look at that folks, it's like right into the foundations there with like the lead poured in alongside. I've seen this most commonly in castles, but never on a house like this. It'll be interesting to research history and see what it actually was. On the outside of here I can also see the hinges where there's been that, what looks like massive shutters. which must have been closed from the outside. Yeah, and that window as well. You can see they're different size of railings. There's big ones and small ones in there. And then there's this other building up here. It's almost like this has been a jail, and then that's been the house up there controlling it. But who knows, folks? I don't see why they would have a reason for a jail up here on the hill. What are you seeing? Oh, has that maybe been the second story beams? Look, here's one of the stones here which have been on top of the window. Look at this. Yeah, there's been wooden bars across the window. It's been incredibly secure, whatever it is. But I'm trying to think why they would need like a jail up here on the hill. But something's been highly secure in that building. In this whole building, I would say. Yeah. But it's crazy to see the wooden bits in there. It's like that has been a bar going across. Yeah. Wow, incredible scenes. It's cool to see places like this and ask the question of history, folks. Yeah, there's been some mad construction in here, and every window's had big shutters as well as bars. Yeah. There's been a wee fireplace at that end. Probably if it was a jail, they wouldn't have a chimney big enough for anyone to get up, but how crazy is it that that chimney goes up past that window? It looks like there would be no room for a chimney going up there.
I know, that's what I was meaning, eh? You must go around it.
Yeah, that's a mad little thing, that, eh? Like, the house is also made with quartz. Big quartz lumps, and that's what's natural in the ground here up these glens.
Big iron something.
Wow, yeah. There's been some crazy lock mechanisms here, folks. Yeah. Into the stone. The steps don't look too worn. You often see worn steps if the building's had a lot of activity. Oh, look, the sheep are just lying down here chilling. No wonder days like this they must be so warm in their woolly coats. That's the last remaining one. Yeah, it's been detailed, eh? Look at that, folks. Detailed stonework. Look at those hinges on that upstairs window. Look at that, folks. An Ordnance Survey benchmark on the end wall of this little croft, or this little jailhouse, whatever it is. I was just going around getting a couple of pictures there. We were pondering the history. It's crazy to see. There's a wee bit of the wooden door frame left there. I do apologise for the wind, folks, at this point. We're away to head on up and look at this second building now. The adventure's crazy coming to a place like this. And look, that's been hit with a bullet. That bar there, folks, has been hit with a bullet. I wonder if somebody was trying to break the other person out of the jail, shooting the bars. It's been shot from the outside. Wow, folks. That's crazy to see that. Yeah, I don't see it. None of these are like that, but you can see there's thick bars and then also thin bars. And look, there's remains of what must have been like shutters. The hinges of them. Oh aye. Look at the detail of the stone carving here, folks. It would have been 17 or 1800s, maybe even older. Stuff like this was built. Probably older when you see that. It's not even got glass in the windows, and potentially it could be so old that they didn't even use glass in windows. Yeah, what a magical spot. And there's this other building here. It looks like half the walls recently fallen down at this corner, but it's just out on this wild hilltop environment, folks. It's amazing today that it isn't super windy. It's actually quite calm for where we are, because there's no trees or anything for miles around to break any wind. And that's often how these buildings decay. Yeah, that's at every place. Look at the old gate post. Maybe at one time they had a wee field kind of around the back of here. And that would have been their main track coming up the front. Check out the wee windy. this building's got quartz as well, like what we saw in the lower building. If that had been some sort of jail, you would think this would be a building related to it.
It's been a garage.
Yeah, or a tractor shed or something. Maybe a farm building. Ah, it's got the big door. This has been the wee man door here with the old lintel. Just about fanned down on its last legs. Yeah, this has been their shed or garage. Here it almost is like a wee jail for some reason. This is where the jail warden would have like kept his motor, and like maybe he had a few sheep and everything back then too. But I can't think there would be much like action in the Glen that would require having a jail. That's how I'm leaning towards thinking it's probably just a wee farm croft. Yeah, I suppose there could have been people out like rustling sheep and stuff in the glens back in the day. Yeah. Like some of the other abandoned farms I've seen, they've got the fine sandstone around the windows and door, and then it's the rough hillstone on the rest of the construction. Yeah, see, this is just on its last legs falling down. The outer stones have just come out of that. Whoa, I'm falling. Oh aye. Yeah, there's wood, so there's been a tree growing through this and it's history. That's maybe part of the reason that the walls are starting to crumble. It looks like it's been more of a shed rather than a house.
The brick.
Yeah, around the windows and cement lintels. So it looks like if it had bars at one time in the window, they're long gone.
Yeah, this is a... yeah.
But also like what history lies below our feet, because this is years of the hill building up. Then there could be other farm like history just buried. There's no sign of a mill or anything like that in any of these sheds, which is strange because every farm croft had them around here. Not unless this was a farm building related to a bigger farm, maybe like down the Glen. It's crazy to see the history though and ponder it, folks, and there's no two adventures the same. We're always amazed like the different houses and buildings and the wee stories of history you can often uncover just for a walk up a hill to a place like this. An interesting point with this building, folks, I think the cement lintels on the windows and that big door have been put in at a later time. Again, there's been an original shed construction there or a house. I can tell though that this side of the door is original with the red sandstone, whereas the other side it's fully brick. So that shows there was a big door there at one time, but it wasn't as wide. So that's, I believe, like each of those windows at the top and then that middle one has been modified at a certain time. But it must have been by a gamekeeper or whatever, or whoever might have lived up here. Could have even been a shepherd at later times. But I'll be interested and I'll do a history update, folks, if I find out exactly what this place was. Sometimes in the video title we'll look for something decent. So like abandoned jail on the hill right here. It's crazy. Just see when you see that view with this abandoned history in front of it, it's just wild, folks. Crazy amounts of nettles today out here, folks. We're just like weaving our way through the wild landscape to document this history, and it's been so cool to see something else we've never seen before on the channel. And a house or a building like this raises so much questions, like it's just a madness to find it. You can imagine like a little prisoner or something in there looking out, trying to get out through the bars. But it's also interesting how there's been gunshots in the bars. Again, it's been like a prison escape story almost. The jailbreak back in the old days of the wild barbarians in the Glen here. Look at this, folks, we're going back in this old jail door, and look, there's been metal bars down there mounted as well with the lead poured in. It looks like the same kind of shutter hinge shape which we've seen on the windows, which is an interesting point of history right there. And this must be some of that door frame. Wow, the history's crazy. There's actually a metal bar sticking out there. That must be one of the metal bars from this site. So here we are, we'll take one last look at these incredible metal bars on this little jailhouse on the Wild Hill, folks. It's been a cool adventure, uncovering more history and yeah, travelling through this Scottish wilderness. I'm going to end it here. I can actually see, must be like a farmer in a jeep down there on that road that we were on. So shout out if you're watching this video to the farmer or the shepherd. But I'm going to end the video here. We're out of the wind in this crazy little building. Goodbye for the channel DJ. Goodbye for me. We'll catch you very soon in the next adventure.